Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Dwayne and we're doing another Quad Cortex tone recreation video today. So doing something a little bit different. A song that I actually am not familiar with, by a band I'm not familiar with, that was recommended by someone to try and get. I have actually listened to this song a couple of times before I did this video, just to kind of hear what style of song it was, and I actually really liked it. It was kind of sludgy stoner type rock, very reminiscent of like 1960s, Led Zeppelin type stuff. So it immediately piqued my interest, and I thought, you know, this would be a perfect candidate for tone recreation video, something that I'm not necessarily completely comfortable with or familiar with. I don't know how to play. I haven't even looked up the tabs or anything. So we're just going to feel this one out, look at the equipment on Equipboard, and see if we can come up with something. So I've got the Equipboard for the singer and the guitarist from the band, Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats. And we can see 4 guitars, 4 amplifiers, and 16 effects pedals. So I've listening to the song. I would say that there isn't a whole lot of effects pedals in there. It's a very simplistic rock sounding tone, but he uses a Vox AC30, this Spooky Tooth pedal, whatever this does. No, oh, it's a fuzz. Okay, this is a fuzz pedal. So if you listen to the song that we're going to be doing, it actually sounds like there is fuzz on there. His guitars, some custom amp. Fuzz pushing a 5E3 Tweed Deluxe. Okay, that's a good little tidbit of information. Earthquaker devices, Bit Commander, Speaker Cranker, Hoof Reaper, devices, arrows. I think this is like a overdrive pedal of some kind. MXR Phase 95, which is obviously, if you're in the psychedelic rock genre, you're using a phase pedal, and the MXR Phase 95 is probably the most popular. Full tone OCD expressive compulsive drive. It's a really good pedal. Dispatch Master devices, Rainbow Machine. He loves his Earthquaker devices pedals, and a few others. We've got a Marshall Super Lead, Fender Twin Reverb. So I'm inclined to try and use a Fender Twin Reverb, and based on what I've been like told briefly, they do use Fender Twin amps live when they play, so this could actually be a really good avenue for us to explore, as well as using like what was it, the Marshall Super Lead. We have something similar to that on the Quad Cortex, but we'll probably try and use what they're using and then work our way back. Okay, so I'm tuned to drop D in my guitar, and I've got the stem tracks loaded for. Okay, so very, very 60s sounding fuzz tones. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna load up Cortex Control. So one thing I can hear in this song is it's not in drop D or standard tuning. It's clearly in like a tuning like maybe B sharp or C, just based on what I can hear on those notes. Certain tunings kind of have certain little tells on there, but we'll work our way around and try and play it in whatever tuning we come up with. So we're just gonna dive right in. So first thing that I always do is I always put a gate in there. So this kind of music, you don't necessarily need a gate. The noise sometimes can be like something that you want in there, a quality that you want to add to the tone, but I'm going to add an amp in there, and I think we're going to go for the Brit Plexi 100 Bright model. Based on what we saw on Equipboard, we're going to set the gain to 6.5 just to bump it up. We'll dial down the bass a little bit. pump up those mids, because it's not a mid-scooped sounding song. Treble 6. Keep the presence at 5. I rarely ever touch that. So we've got a nice little bass sound to work with. And what we'll do is we're going to use one of my favorite cabinets. It's the 412 Brit 60A BB75 cabinet. It's really good for this style of music. You know, more like a classic rock. But these amps were popular in the 90s as well, I believe. So let's hear what we've got so far. So we're in drop D. I remember how to play that. Different song. But we've got something that sounds pretty like, it's pretty basic. We've got no pedals or anything like that in there, obviously. But first thing that I'm going to do, my instinct is to put a fuzz in there. You can see he's using overdrive pedals and stuff, but this sound, it sounds like he's using fuzz pedals to me. Fuzz pedal. So let's just hear how it sounds. The fuzz pi is based on the electroharmonics. Kind of creates a nice dense, harmonically rich distortion. You don't really want to kind of go too crazy on it, otherwise the sound does get quite muddy, but let's hear what we got here. Okay, so this sounds terrible. That does not sound good at all. And I wonder, did we do something wrong here? I think we may have. So my hunch here, we'll probably use a Fender Twin reverb or something to get that sound. This amp is clearly probably not the right choice for what we want. I'm inclined to go for the US Twin vibrato, maybe. Probably set the volume to 6. Let's just hear how it sounds with that cabinet. There is something not right about this tone. I think we're going to set this at neutral, this volume. Bass at 5. We'll probably dial up the treble a little bit. We'll add the bright on, which gives it like that typical Fender sparkle. Probably want to change the cabinet now to the 212. Something is definitely not right here. So this is where we start experimenting with our sound a little bit. Maybe, I did see he was using a boost pedal. So what we're actually going to do is play around with this a little bit and kind of see what we can get. So treble at 7, so we retain the clarity. And we just want a slightly little bit of gain to kind of hit that fuzz pedal. Yeah, something about this doesn't sound quite right. Maybe instead of using a fuzz pi, we try a facial fuzz. No. Okay, so something's not feeling quite right about this. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to drop the fuzz pedal out. And we're going to keep the exotic Z boost in there. But what we're going to do is we're going to put another drive in there. And what did we set that to? 6. So 6 just to kind of drive the amp a little bit harder. Now let's mess around with the settings a little bit. So high pass peak makes it sound a little bit more like brighter. Okay, this sounds not too bad. So when we use the Fender amp, it means that the pedals take more of a front seat as opposed to a back seat of using a Marshall amp. Now, one thing we're going to do is add a room reverb just to make things feel a little bit more like filled out. So I'm going to set that to low, about 25%. And we're going to set this decay, I reckon, to about 1.5. High pass, we want that around about 100. And low pass, I'm actually going to set this to about 5,000. I'm going to keep trails on. So see how it sounds with the room reverb? Yeah. Sounds a little bit more fuller. So drop D, but it sounds pretty good. Like. The iconic War Pigs guitar riff. Such a classic riff. Anyway, this is sounding pretty good, so I'm going to save this, mount Abraxas. This sounds pretty good to me. So one thing I have noticed is we probably want to mess around with some of these amp settings a little bit, maybe drive the amp up a little bit higher. But now what we're going to do is we're going to test it against what we have against the song. So one thing actually I could hear and we should do is I can hear the song is not in drop D. It's most likely a couple of semitones down. So I'm going to put a pitch shifter in, and Quad Cortex pitch shifter does alright. It's not bad. See how that sounds. I mean, I love that sound. It's got a nice little grit to it. So let's play. Cool little guitar riff. I don't know how to play it. I'm just kind of feeling my way around, but if I'm in drop D and I go down one semitone, what's that? C sharp? It's maybe C sharp, but sounds very familiar. So I've got there's something else in that little turnaround, like it sounds like too high, doesn't it? Like, it sounds like it's more like maybe on the second string. And maybe there's a top string in there, like. I'm making that up. It sounds not too bad. Let's try again. I'm going to try and work out how to play it. So if you don't want to watch this, just skip forward. There should be chapters for the next parts after this, but I'm just going to learn it now. What a sick riff. Okay. So clearly I'm not playing it. Maybe I'm not even in the right tuning, but I feel like I'm getting in the vicinity of the right feel and even actually the right sound. So one thing I can hear is maybe we need a little bit more of a push in there. Yeah, I feel like that little extra push, and we don't want to go too much on the gain, but maybe we need a little bit more drive on our obsessive drive. Obsessive drive. That sounds pretty good. Like you'll notice that fuzz and overdrive, like they're one of the same in many ways, but you could hear when we tried using the fuzz pedal, it was like it was way too much. It was like distorting big time. I don't know if it was like user error, my guitar, the pickups. Obviously I don't have the same equipment they do, so we kind of have to make adjustments. And naturally, if you're using this preset, your guitar's going to be different. You're probably going to have to do a little bit of exploration and tweaking yourself. If you have active pickups especially, like probably too much gain, too much volume, you're going to have to tweak, but that's such a cool riff. So we may do some tweaking with some EQ and whatnot still to kind of accentuate some of those things and cut some stuff out, maybe a cut around 400. But I think what we should do is we should do another playthrough because this song requires a little bit of like listening, tweaking, listening, tweaking. So let's see how we go. I'm gonna turn the volume down too. So one thing I can hear is we've probably got too much gain now. I don't remember what we had this on for. Yeah, okay. That works pretty well. Definitely, I don't think a fuzz would work in this regard. I do think using the overdrive in this aspect does seem to actually be kind of what we want here. We might do a little cut around 400, I think. We'll put a parametric EQ here on the end. We'll peak, go around about 400, and we'll probably dip that around 3. Let's just hear how that sounds. With EQ, you want to, actually also, we should probably bump up that Q size. So it's a little less precise, but still relatively precise. Wow, okay, that makes a pretty big difference straight off the bat, doesn't it? 2. So let's play this and hear what we have. So we've got a cut at 400, around about 3. I'm just listening to this actually. We probably want to reduce this down a little bit further. Let's just hear what that sounds like around about -3 at 250. Okay, that sounds pretty good. I think we needed to go down a little bit lower. Just listening to this, I think we probably want a 500 boost 3. So we did a drop of 3 and we're going to increase by 3. Let's just hear how that sounds. So this is going to accentuate the mid-range, which is kind of like what a vintage psychedelic tone has. So let's bump up the Q size on that one and keep that at 1.4. So we might do a third cut around the 1.5 to 2K mark. We'll just kind of hear how that sounds. We'll do that 1. So this will stop it sounding, so harsh and ear piercing. And here is a little bit there is a little bit going on there. 150, no, I want 1,500. Okay, so I can hear around about 1732, 1700. Okay, so we've got a bit of high end in here as well. I can hear in my headphones. This is a parametric 3, and I can't do any more adjustments. So what's that? 1732, 500. We're going to replace this with parametric 8. Okay, we did a peak. And what was it we did around here? It was 250. Oh, -2 at 250. And I think we did like a 1.4 for that one. For 2, I think we did 500, and I think we increased that mid-range about 3 decibels, and I think we had a Q size of around about 2 for that one. For 2, we wanted 250. Wait, oh no, we done the 250. That's the 250. Sorry, we wanted 500. And we wanted a gain of only 3 decibels with a Q size of 2. 3, we wanted, I think we agreed about 1700. And I think we knocked back 2 on that one. And then we wanted a 4th, but we ran out. And I think we probably want this one around about 6K. We're obviously going to listen to this. I'll do 1.2, we don't have too much. This will reduce some of the brightness because the Fender Twin can be a little bit bright. So we're going to do a very conservative cut there of 1. You can see we've cut some of that brightness out of there and high end as well. We could probably even take that down too, actually, to kind of give it that kind of little bit more of a muffled, sort of reduced high end type psychedelic sound. That's good. So we've tamed the highs now. We've done a little bit of a low end on there. We've actually missed out one crucial thing here, and that's probably wanted a high pass filter around about 80 to kind of cut the low end rumble and kind of keep the distortion like clear, if that makes sense. Okay, that sounds better. We've filled up the whole entire row, thinking we might need to move it down to this row and split it, but this actually seems okay. That sounds really good to me. We're going to cut out the bass and the guitar, and I'm just going to play the guitar track and see if I can kind of hear it that way. Hear a few little things here. The tone in this song is a little bit more crackly. I think we worked out when we drive the obsessive drive up too much, it kind of gets a bit too distorted. So what we're going to try and do is drive up the exotic Z boost and see if that works. Okay, that sounds a little bit better. Still got the clarity, like... We we drove up the Z boost a little bit to kind of push the overdrive pedal, which in turn is pushing the amp. We could probably even benefit from pushing up the amp volume as well, just a little bit extra. And I realize I'm not playing it correctly. I've heard this song like once, so. And I really dig this band, really awesome band. I'm probably going to dig into the back catalogue after this. I love a good little riff. So it's got like a fuzz type sound to it. You can hear on the... And that's kind of the thing I'm comparing to, is that kind of bass note there. So let's listen to it again. There's a little like melody thing going. It's like... I think it's going up here. Okay, let's recap what we've got here. We've got a pitch shifter, which is not essential. I'm just doing that to try and get close to the tone. We've got exotic Z boost on here, just to kind of give it a kind of a cleanish kind of little power boost without messing up the sound too much. And all the settings on there, except the treble is dimed up, gain just a little over midway, volume at 6, which matches the amp. A drive and a sesame drive, we put that up to 4, tone at neutral and volume at 6, and that kind of gives us... Now I realize it's not like spot on close. These people are using like a lot of pedals by the looks of it. Of course we've got room reverb as well to kind of fill out the sound and kind of make it sound a little bit more, I guess, like live, which psychedelic music benefits from. And then we've got some EQ adjustments here as well. So we're doing a little cut on the low end here. Well, actually, more importantly, we're starting here. We've got a high pass, which is cutting at 80. And what this does, it'll clear any like unwanted low end rumble, and it'll keep our distortion clear and focused. At 250, you've got a -2 scoop to stop the sound getting too muddy. If you need more body, you can inverse this and go 2 on there, but I don't want it to have more body. This is a mid-frequency adjustment here at 500. And basically, this is going to accentuate the mid-range, which is crucial for, you know, a vintage psychedelic tone like this. You want a bit of mid-range. We, of course, haven't boosted up the mids on the amp. We probably could have, and that's probably how they did it back then, but you can kind of get a little bit more precise. Also, the Q size is 2, so it's got a quite wide band, not as wide as it could be. Around the 1700 mark, we've done a high mid frequency adjustment, and we've scooped off 2 decibels to stop the tone being so harsh or piercing, basically. Kind of gets rid of some of those high mid frequencies. And then at 6000, we're doing a drop of 2 decibels. That's because the Fender Twin and I think this pedal, the Exotic Z Boost, I think it's making it like, it's introducing a little high end in there. So this cuts it down, and we've got a moderate width size here of 1.2. That just kind of cuts it down as well, because the Fender Twin is known to have a bit of high end in there naturally. So that just kind of gives it that, adds to that sludgy vintage stuff in there. And that's pretty much kind of like the extent of what we're doing in here. So nothing overly complex, but it may, you know, I say that, but we obviously have to do a bit of work to get there. Is this perfect? It's not. This probably, you know, I feel like I still, in my heart, I still feel like a fuzz pedal would have been the ideal for this. I couldn't get the fuzz pedal working, and I don't know if it's my guitar or if it's, you know, user error basically. But what we're going to do here is we're going to do one more playthrough finally. I just remember I don't know how to play this song. I've got no tabs or anything, so it's definitely kind of like I'm just feeling this out and playing what I listen to. So if it sounds out of time or completely wrong, don't hate me. Just focus on the tone. That's the overall focus of this video. And if you feel like it's close, but it's not close enough, and you have the Quad Cortex, and you probably do if you're watching this, download the preset and dig in and see if you can kind of crack it as well, because I'm definitely getting that vintage tone in there, but I definitely feel like there's still room for improvement. And, I say that in every video. There's definitely avenues that you could continue to explore to kind of get this sound. Different overdrives, maybe a different fuzz, even different amps, different speaker cabinets, moving the mic placement, all those kind of things, more EQ. But we're going to play through this and see how we square up. So... Okay. It was getting a bit too experimental Hendrix on me there, and I don't think I've actually ever heard that far into the song before. I was looking at the waveform and trying to work out just based on the drums because the guitar I couldn't see properly of where it was going to hit. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it came pretty close. Like I said, it's not perfect. I've never actually even heard of this band before, but I love them. Like really right up my alley in terms of like the genre they are. I listen to similar bands like All Them Witches and The Sword and whatnot, which are kind of in that similar realm of kind of like, you know, that vintage rock sound. Great voice, great riffs, great tone and production. Like ticks all the boxes. I'm definitely going to dive into the back catalog of these guys when I get a moment. But I mean, let me know what you thought in the comments. Especially if you're familiar with this band. And, you know, if you have some suggestions of your own of how you think it should sound, please let me know in the comments if I missed anything obvious, especially when it comes to the fuzz, because I definitely feel like that was worth pursuing, but I kind of didn't stick with it long enough. I found that the overdrive and the combination of the Z boost and the obsessive drive plus the EQ that we did, I think it got us there. And the twin shined, man. It's a great amp that, you know, thrives with pedals and whatnot, which is why it's thrived for as long as it has. So, and obviously the room reverb that we put on there as well to give it that fullness. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I'm gonna wrap it up there. Otherwise, I feel like I could geek out and dig into this all day. So you made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching. And as always, if you have any songs that you would like to see me try and recreate the tone for, let me know in the comments, or other way to get in contact with me. Take requests, you know, not genre constrained. It's got a unique tone, something a bit of a challenge. This was a challenge for me because it's more outside, you know, it's not in my wheelhouse of like conventional modern metal that I usually would do, or punk and rock tones. So if you've got stuff like this, not necessarily the same genre, but, you know, similar challenge, please let me know. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.